like to thank Steve Lowe and everyone involved in creating this unique and very interesting event, the participants and everyone that has been involved in the planning. I'd like to read from an interview that Ingersoll gave to a magazine called Secular Thought in Toronto, Canada, on August 25th, 1888. It is entitled Secularism. Question. Colonel, what is your opinion of secularism? Do you regard it as a religion? Answer. I understand that the word secularism embraces everything that is of any real interest or value to the human race. I take it for granted that everybody will admit that well-being is the only good. That is to say, that it is impossible to conceive of anything of real value that does not tend either to preserve or to increase the happiness of some sentient being. Secularism therefore covers the entire territory. It fills the circumference of human knowledge and of human effort. It is, you may say, the religion of this world, but if there is another world, it is necessarily the religion of that as well. Man finds himself in this world naked and hungry. He needs food, raiment, and shelter. He finds himself filled with almost innumerable wants. To gratify these wants is the principal business of life. To gratify them without interfering with other people is the course pursued by all honest men. Secularism teaches us to be good here and now. I know nothing better than goodness. Secularism teaches us to be just here and now. It is impossible to be juster than just. Man can be as just in this world as in any other, and justice must be the same in all worlds. Secularism teaches a man to be generous, and generosity is certainly as good here as it can be anywhere else. Secularism teaches a man to be charitable, and certainly charity is as beautiful in this world and in this short life as it could be were man immortal. But Orthodox people insist that there is something higher than secularism. But as a matter of fact, the mind of man can conceive of nothing better, nothing higher, nothing more spiritual than goodness, justice, generosity, and charity. Neither has the mind of man been capable of finding a nobler incentive to action than human love. Secularism is a religion that is to be used everywhere and at all times, that is to be taught everywhere and practiced at all times. It is not a religion that is so dangerous that it must be kept out of the schools. It is not a religion that is so dangerous that it must be kept out of politics. It belongs in the schools. It belongs at the polls. It is the business of secularism to teach every child, to teach every voter. It is its business to discuss all political problems and to decide all questions that affect the rights or the happiness of a human being. The great benefit of secularism is that it appeals to the reason of every man. It asks every man to think for himself. It does not threaten punishment if a man thinks, but it offers a reward instead. It does not say, "You will be damned in another world if you think." Rather, it says, "You will be damned in this world if you do not think." Secularism preserves the manhood and the womanhood of all. It says to each human being, stand upon your own feet, examine for yourself, investigate, observe, think, express your opinion, stand by your judgment, unless you become convinced you are wrong. And when you are so convinced, you can maintain and preserve your manhood or your womanhood by admitting that you were wrong. It is impossible that the whole world should agree on one creed. It may be impossible that any two human beings can agree exactly on religious belief. Secularism teaches that each one must take care of himself, that the first duty of man is to himself, to the end that he may be not only useful to himself, but to others. He who fails to take care of himself becomes a burden. The first duty of man is not to be a burden. Every secularist can give a reason for his creed. First of all, he believes in work, taking care of himself. He believes in the cultivation of the intellect, to the end that he may take advantage of the forces of nature, to the end that he may be clothed and fed and sheltered. He also believes in giving to every other human being every right that he claims for himself. He does not depend on prayer. He has no confidence in ghosts and phantoms. He knows nothing of another world and knows just as little of a first cause. But what little he does know, he endeavors to use, and to use for the benefit of himself and others. He knows that he sustains certain relations to other sentient beings, and he endeavors to add to the aggregate of human joy. He is his own church, his own priest, his own clergyman, and his own pope. He decides for himself. In other words, he is a free man.